What's up, guys? Michaela Vernava alongside Doug Kyed in Foxborough. We are getting our first look at reaction from inside the walls of Gillette Stadium at the entire situation regarding Antonio Brown and the rape allegations that came out on Tuesday night. And Doug, this morning we heard from Bill Belichick, one of the shortest Bill Belichick press conferences I've seen in a while. Were you surprised by how he conducted himself at the podium this morning?
A little bit. He was basically just his normal Bill Belichick. It was as if he didn't want to answer questions about deflated footballs or some other controversy, but this just feels a little bit more sensitive. I feel like he probably could have broached the topic a little bit more sensitively. Like you said, it was only about 4 minutes. There was some fan reaction that the media should have been asking questions about the Miami Dolphins, but that's not what we're writing about today. We're not writing about the Miami Dolphins. We're writing about Antonio Brown.
Definitely not. And we saw Antonio Brown out with the Patriots on the practice fields for the first time. He is sporting number 1. I'm curious what your observations were of him. I will fully admit, I'm not sure if this is confirmation bias on my part, but in watching the team go through their stretching drills, I felt like he was kind of out of sync with the rest of what everyone was doing. Maybe that's just a product of the fact that he hasn't been here that long. Again, full disclosure, could be confirmation bias that I'm maybe subconsciously looking for something being a little bit awry with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that he's got his own warm-up routine that he probably likes to go through. It's also possible that the team just didn't run through what they do with him, so he just wasn't totally sure what to do out there. For me, wearing number 1, so he still hasn't got the number issue settled. Antonio Brown usually wears number 84. Ben Watson has that. There's a lot of uncertainty about whether Antonio Brown can even wear number 84 with the Patriots, so he was with number 1 today. He's also wearing a different helmet than we're used to seeing him wear, and we all know that that was a controversy he had in Oakland. He was partnering with Zenith to wear a Zenith Shadow helmet. In practice today, however, he was wearing a Schutt helmet, not the Schutt helmet he initially wanted to wear with the Raiders, but the one that he was wearing after he couldn't wear that helmet. So it's another thing we'll just have to see, even if he plays in week 2, what helmet he'll be wearing too.
And you mentioned controversy. It seems like everything surrounding this guy is controversy, but the latest, much more serious than the helmet, frostbitten feet, etc., and so on. Do you think that the Patriots had any idea about these allegations coming down before they signed him? I know a lot of people are wondering that, and does the DeMaryius Thomas trade indicate that they did not?
Yeah, well, I think it was Adam Schefter who reported that the Patriots were caught by surprise by this. I think Ian Rappaport reported the same thing, that they did not know about this situation before they actually signed Antonio Brown. The tricky thing on that is that on Saturday morning, it's not a legitimate source, but there's a Twitter account called Incarcerated Bob who actually had leaked Instagram DMs of Antonio Brown speaking with a woman who knew that this lawsuit was coming and that these allegations were coming. So there had been a hint of this on Saturday morning. Did I know about them? No, but I also wasn't about to pay this guy $15 million. So if the Patriots didn't have any idea about this, I think it kind of calls into question how much they should or aren't or are looking into social media. We all know that Bill Belichick makes jokes about social media, but this thing was out there on social media on Saturday morning, and if they had signed him without knowing it, then maybe they should start paying some people to start looking at those things that are out on social media.
Yeah, love it or hate it, social media is a very real part of society these days. And if these allegations are true, whether or not they are, is still yet to be determined. And Antonio Brown, there's so many options. We don't know what's going to happen. He could end up on the commissioner's exempt list. If the Patriots cannot play, or Antonio Brown cannot play with the Patriots, and DeMaryius Thomas is now gone, what do they do moving forward with this receiving core?
Yeah, I just realized I didn't really address the DeMaryius question, but yeah, I think that the fact that they did trade him might inclines me to think that they probably didn't know about all this coming down, but I do still think they're in pretty good shape at wide receiver. We all saw how good they looked on Sunday night when Philip Dorsett was basically playing that Antonio Brown role. Antonio Brown is better than Philip Dorsett, but Philip Dorsett had 4 catches on 4 targets, 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's playing with Julian Edelman and Josh Gordon. There's certainly uncertainty there with Edelman being 33 years old, with Josh Gordon and his constant suspension issues. But the Patriots do have some reserves on some reserves lists in N'Keal Harry, their first-round pick, who's on IR, Cameron Meredith, who's on the PUP list. They can come back week 9 and week 7, respectively. So even if something does go wrong with Edelman and or Gordon, they do still have some backup options in Harry and Meredith.
All right, well, thanks, Doug, and we will be keeping tabs on this story as it continues to unfold, so make sure to keep it right here on NESN.com.